Fort Worth, Texas, 1992. 16-year-old Dorothy Marie Robards is an A student who has the looks as well as the grades.
Marie was just this kind of girl that teenage boys always look twice at. Beautiful, long legs, gorgeous brown eyes.
And every parent's dream.
She was delightful. She didn't talk back. She didn't argue. She just went with the flow.
Marie shares a tight bond with her mom.
She was very attached to her mother. I don't think you'd say unnaturally so, but more of a sisterly sort of attitude towards her mother.
They finished each other's sentences. They would chat through the night.
You would have been fine. You would have, you would have looked the nicest. Yeah. Hi, darling.
But there's one thing wrong with family life for Marie. Her stepdad, Frank.
Did you clean your room like I asked?
Marie didn't like Frank initially for just taking away her mother,
You aren't my dad.
diverting attention from her to Frank.
He's a good man. Oh, I can't stand living in this house.
When her mother said, I'm going to stick with Frank and we're going to make this marriage work, the devastation was enormous for Marie.
If you don't divorce him, I'll have to leave.
Marie ups the ante
You can go to your grandparents' house then.
and loses.
Frank.
Oh!
She decides to leave the family home.
In Marie's anger, she impulsively left home. But then, as most teenagers do, she changed her mind and wanted to come back.
Her rebellion only lasts 1 week. But when she returns, there's no happy homecoming. Her mom and stepdad believe she's better off living with her natural father.
She had been basically, she felt, kicked out of her own home, away from her mother, due to this stepfather who she didn't like.
Marie's misfortune is a blessing for her real dad, Stephen.
He was excited that he was going to have the chance to be a full-time father.
Stephen's girlfriend at the time, Sandy Hudgens, remembers how he put his all into making Marie welcome.
He filled those shoes, I think, better than I expected.
How's your meal?
I don't really like beans.
He got a job at the post office. He began to take care of Marie more, buy her clothes.
But a father's love can only go so far, particularly when he lives in a bachelor pad.
Dad, where am I gonna sleep?
Oh, right here.
Even though she knew how hard he was trying to please her, it was a miserable life.
She was sleeping on the floor. She didn't even have her own room.
I told Steve that, a girl her age really, really needed her privacy and how important that was.
Her dad was trying to get that for her, but Marie wasn't willing to wait.
I hate it here. I have to sleep on some roll-up bed.
Marie is desperate for her mom.
I miss you.
One-sided phone calls I overheard
Please, Mom.
was her constantly begging,
Please,
and
begging you,
her
please.
mother kept saying no, making her cry, hanging up on her.
Marie was dependent on her mother and would do anything to be with her.
I just miss her so much.
It just was more dependency than the normal teenager.
Your dad's here for you.
Sandy offers comfort, but is no substitute for the real thing.
I couldn't fill all of the needs she was missing right then.
The one place where things go right is school.
Even though her life was not what she wanted, and though she felt stuck, she still excelled in high school. And so she was an A student, and she was especially an A student in her chemistry class.
Now please be careful. Barium is poisonous.
The star student is working on an extra special assignment, an experiment in death. Fort Worth, Texas. Beautiful, gifted, charming. 16-year-old Marie Robards is a girl with substance. But this star student lacks one thing she wants desperately.
I'm gonna go now. I've got
Her mother's company.
Please, I'm begging you, please.
She needed her mother.
Bye.
She wasn't going to adjust to living without her. She would do anything to get back with her mother.
Marie is hatching a plan to get home.
One day, without anybody noticing, she took a little barium acetate when she was over by the chemicals, poured it into a napkin, closed up the napkin, and headed home.
The A-plus science student will conduct an experiment with the common school laboratory chemical barium acetate, a poison lethal to humans. Marie waits a week until the night of February 18th, 1993, when she convinces her dad to have fast food for dinner.
I'm gonna grab a beer. Do you want anything?
Water.
Sure.
Her father, who wasn't much of a cook, goes out and gets Mexican food, and when he comes back, she sprinkles a little bit on one of his tacos or enchiladas.
He did tell me it was too salty, but he ate it anyway. Steve was going to go to church. I talked to him earlier.
Stephen won't make the service because he's closer to God than he imagines.
Within an hour, he comes back saying he felt sick to his stomach, and then he went downhill in a hurry.
His girlfriend, Sandy, who lives down the hall, gets a knock on the door.
So I went on down there, and he was already in bed, really having a lot of stomach pain, a lot of cramping. He said, I think I've got food poisoning.
Marie's chemical concoction is taking hold.
Something is seriously wrong now.
Can you tell me what happened here?
I don't know.
Dorothy Marie Robards watched him as the EMTs tried to revive him and never once opened her mouth to save her father's life.
Paramedics begin a desperate race to save him.
Can you go outside and wait?
Despite their best efforts, Stephen dies.
I really couldn't believe it. He was 38 and in good health.
Authorities investigate the death, but rule it a heart attack.
And just like that, Marie had committed the perfect murder.
Marie gets her wish. She is home and back in her mother's arms. But Marie's not the only one with a shocking secret.
The mother says, listen, the two of us are leaving. We're going to Florida. And Marie says, how long have you known about this? She said, for several weeks. I just didn't want to tell you until it's time to go, and it's time to go. Marie realized that if her mother had just told her earlier, then this whole poisoning of her father would never have taken place.
Ended up being all for naught. That makes it even a bigger tragedy.
Marie buries her poisonous past in college classes. But 11 months later, the guilt becomes too much to bear.
It's the speech from Claudius. Claudius, who murders Hamlet's father. And it's the famous speech about guilt. Will he ever be able to get over the knowledge that he murdered Hamlet's father? She sees Marie breaking down in tears and says, oh my gosh, what's happened? You wrecked your grandparents' car, Marie says. No. Well, you didn't murder someone, did you? Marie says.
My father. I poisoned him.
Don't be stupid.
And out comes the story.
Please don't tell anyone.
After all this time, Shakespeare brings out this confession, the power of Shakespeare.
He was great.
If Marie hadn't confessed to a classmate that she had killed her father, she would have gotten away with this murder forever.
I just really wanted to move him back with my mom.
For Marie's best friend, it's a drama too big to keep secret. She goes to the authorities.
When they redid the autopsy, they found the barium levels in Stephen Robard's blood and tissue to be 28 times the lethal amount.
Marie is arrested and quickly confesses, but insists she never meant to kill her dad. She just wanted him sick so she could go back to her mom. But the jury doesn't buy it and convicts her of first-degree murder.
Given the fact that Marie stole the barium a week in advance and held on to it, certainly shows a great amount of preparation and planning.
Marie was a smart girl. She was getting A's in chemistry. She knew exactly how much barium acetate it would take to kill her father.
On May 10th, 1996, Marie Robards is sentenced to 28 years in prison. The flawless pupil becomes a model prisoner. After just 7 years, she gets parole. Sandy is still coming to terms with the tragedy.
I hate to admit it, but I had a really bad depression for years. Thank goodness that finally went away. But I haven't loved anyone since Stephen. Haven't gotten close enough to anyone.
Few believe Marie was born bad, but the combination of desperation and immaturity creates a murderer.
For Marie, watching her father die a horrible, agonizing death was something she had to do to get what she wanted. Everyone that knew Marie said she was a good girl. I think she was, right up to the moment she murdered her father.
When a mother hears deluded messages
This was a very ugly world, that this was not a place for her children to be.
about what's best for her children,
She thought she was doing something good for her children.
the unthinkable can happen.
The voices tell the person horrible things about themselves, and it can make the individual very, very dangerous to other people.
Setting the right example is important to Milwaukee mom Elise Ledvina. In 1997, she runs a strict household, bringing up her 2 sons, Joe, 9, and John Jr., 8, to obey their parents and the Lord.
May the Lord make us true.
Her faith was probably the cornerstone of her life. She was devoutly religious, and she raised her children to be religious as well.
34-year-old Elise and her accountant husband, John, are respected and active members of their church community.
They were heavily involved in the church. She was on church committees. She was a volunteer at church. She sang in the choir. She was known at the Catholic school where her sons, went as a good mother.
Father.
But all is not as it seems. Elise has a dark secret. She is a troubled soul who hears voices.
Elise heard voices in her head, known as auditory hallucinations. That type of hallucination, voices, they're not fun, they're not kind. The voices tell the person horrible things about themselves and sometimes about other people.
And the voices have a grim message for Elise.
Her delusion was that she was a bad mother. She was psychotic.
Elise believes the power of prayer will solve her problems. But faith alone can't help. She's suffering from a serious mental illness, schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder, thought disorders, generally emerge when the individual is in their late teens to early to mid-20s. Elise appeared completely normal until she was in her mid-20s, and then the psychoses took over.
When Elise's illness starts in the early 1990s, her concerned family insist she get medical help.
Her struggles with mental illness became more visibly apparent. There was a brief hospitalization. She was seeing a psychiatrist, diagnosed with a socioaffective disorder, was placed on antipsychotic medication. Medication was clearly critical in order for her to function in society and to not be delusional.
But Elise doesn't trust the medication. She has more faith in the voices than pills.
Part of the nature of the illness schizophrenia is that the patient is suspicious of medication. They think it's poison. They become paranoid about the medication, and that's one of the reasons they don't want to take it.
Elise's husband, John, does everything he can to support his wife.
Friends and neighbors reported that they thought Elise was perfectly normal. And there were some days I'm sure she probably did come across that way. Her own husband didn't know how really sick she was.
Please, I promise it'll...
Boys, hey, go make the call, okay?
Please.
Without her medication, her behavior becomes so erratic by 1994 that John decides he must leave Elise for his son's sake.
Please. John.
For a time, the boys had gone to live with their grandparents because of their mother's instability. So there were obviously signs of great trouble within the family and within the home.
Are you okay?
But marriage is a sacred vow. And after a year living apart, the devout Christians try again.
Are you taking your pills?
And Elise is taking her pills.
I'm about to take one here. Do you want to talk?
Sure.
After they reunite, they had a couple of good years where it looked like the medication was working, the treatment was working, and that they would be a successful family after all.
But soon Elise stops her meds, and the voices are back.
Lord, I pray.
These are very, very strong medications that do help, but they don't work if they're left in the bathroom. The meds have to be taken every day.
But when this mom's not taking her pills, bad things will happen.
Elise did not have a history of violence. She did not have a history of outbursts or anything that would indicate what would happen next.
Don't listen to you. I don't listen.
I'll try not to be.
Milwaukee couple, Elise and John Ledvina, seem to have a good life with their 2 sons. The committed Christians are pillars of their local church. But Elise is fighting her own demons, schizophrenia. She stops taking her medication, and her delusions return.
Elise didn't want to take the medication. She didn't like the way it made her feel. And this is typical of a lot of schizophrenics. They start taking the medication, and then they think, well, I'm well now. I don't need to take it.
I can hear you.
The voices are more controlling, and their message more chilling.
And the voices were telling her that this was a very ugly world, that this was not a place for her children to be. So she's thinking about that. She's hearing these voices, and she's making a plan.
August 26th, 1997. Elise washes up after the evening meal. Her 2 boys have gone their separate ways. 8-year-old John Jr. plugs into his asthma treatment machine in the basement. 9-year-old Joe retires to his room.
This was an idyllic scene. It was sort of at first this normal middle American summer evening.
But it's not. Elise believes she's receiving divine messages.
Her religious faith spun into delusions at the time of the murder.
Elise's delusion was that she had to kill the children so their souls would go to heaven. Apparently, her delusion also told her she needed to do it with a baseball bat.
The most vulnerable child, little John, is attacked first.
That 8-year-old boy probably never saw what was coming. He was taking his treatment when his mother came in there and started swinging that bat. He really didn't have a chance.
Elise?
The father hears thumping sounds coming from the basement. He has to take time to rush in, and she's still hitting her son with the bat.
What are you doing? Oh, God!
He takes that bat from her, holds her down.
Struggling to hold on to his wife, John calls for help.
While he was calling 911, she took the bat and rushed upstairs and started attacking her second son, Joe. Who would think, your mother who had just prepared dinner for you would suddenly try to murder you with a baseball bat. It doesn't get more horrific than that.
For Elise, beating the boys with a baseball bat was a way to dispatch them to heaven. The blood didn't matter.
This time, John manages to stop his wife. Both boys are rushed to the hospital. 8-year-old John Jr. can't be saved. He dies of skull fractures.
He would have lost consciousness very rapidly. Death would have taken a matter of minutes after that. In all likelihood, he would have been dead 10 or 15 minutes later.
Miraculously, 9-year-old Joe survives. His father's actions save his life.
His father made it upstairs in time and was able to wrestle his wife off of the boy.
Fortunately, her second son did not receive as many blows as her first son. He probably only received 2 or 3, maybe 4 blows, enough to cause skull fracture and some underlying brain injury.
There is no question about who commits these crimes. Police arrest Elise at the scene.
She was immediately charged with the most serious offenses under Wisconsin law: first-degree intentional homicide and attempted first-degree intentional homicide.
For what we are about to receive,
Elise offers a shocking explanation as to why she attacks her sons.
She thought they would be better off because she couldn't provide them with a good life in this society because it was too twisted, and the bad influences of television and so forth. So she thought she was doing something good for her children by murdering them.
Lord, be with me. Lord, protect me.
It's not unusual for people suffering with certain types of schizophrenia to believe that God is talking to them. It's known as religious ideation, and it can make the individual very, very dangerous to other people.
Elise is found criminally insane and is committed to a mental institution.
This is one of those tragic cases. She was a woman who actually loved her children, and her mental illness drove her to do the unthinkable.
In 2007, after being committed for 10 years, she is released on the condition she never contacts her former family.
She was ordered by the judge to never have contact with John Ledvina, and she was also ordered to have no contact with her surviving son. And there was a termination of her parental rights.
The court hears testimony from prominent psychiatrists that now Elise is medicated. She's stable. Her dangerous religious delusions, a thing of the past. But not everyone thinks justice has been served.
As a member of the community, I'm disturbed that Elise Ledvina got out. And I think anyone who's capable of murdering their own child is always going to be, in some level, a threat to society. I think this is the most cold-hearted crime that could be committed for a mother who brings a child into this world to be capable of murdering that child, and in such a heinous manner.
Some psychologists and psychiatrists would say that society is safe from Elise. Maybe they're right, and maybe they're wrong. But I would not let Elise babysit for me.
For some kids, childhood is full of happy memories.
Felicia Morgan's life was a mosaic of terror and tragedy.
Others grow up surrounded by violence.
She'd had a very difficult childhood, the kind of childhood that none of us would want to have or try to survive.
Give me a coat.
And when it's all they know,
It was horrible. That one night changed so many lives.
it can be dangerous. In the early 1990s in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 17-year-old Felicia Morgan is exposed to more of the bad side of life than most people.
Yo, Felicia, your uncle has been shot. He's been shot.
Several members of Felicia's family are killed on the streets.
She had an uncle who was murdered. She had a cousin who was murdered. Another cousin, I believe, who was shot.
Whoa, can't come through.
I know. I gotta free
Do
her.
not get through.
I just
I'm
want to free
sorry.
him.
That's her family.
She's gotta get through.
By the time Felicia was 17, she had lost more people close to her to gun violence than most soldiers do in a war.
Felicia is also a victim of crime. She's violently mugged for the clothes on her back.
Give me a coat. No.
She was beaten and her jacket was stolen.
She'd had a very difficult childhood, the kind of childhood that none of us would want to have or try to survive. She was internalizing a lot of this chaos and brutality and violence. There was no security for her.
Felicia decides the only way to survive is to turn from victim to victimizer. She starts dishing out what she has received.
Crime started out small, shoplifting, car stolen, and then it gets escalated pretty soon. They need more money, and then there's robberies involved, felonies.
Give up your germ! You heard her. You heard her. No.
They swear what happened to them was horrible. They would never do it to anyone, but they end up being a victimizer. They find power in that and comfort.
Living in the same tough area of Milwaukee is Brenda Adams.
We had the all ups and downs that every Afro-American family has one way or another, which consists of some family members being on drugs, family members being incarcerated.
Make a wish, come on.
Brenda has been a troubled teen.
She was placed in a group home because her father was having trouble controlling her behavior.
But by her 17th birthday party, Brenda is back on track with high hopes for the future.
She was a senior at the local high school here. She was on path to graduate. She wanted to go to college.
Brenda and her cousin, Tequila Matthew, both lived with their grandmother.
She was living a teenager's dream. She was happy, lovable, had her whole life ahead of her.
Try it on!
Brenda gets one very special birthday gift.
She had received this beautiful leather coat from her sister in Atlanta, and at that time it was like, whoa, you know, expensive gift like that, you know, everybody was like, oh, you know, and everybody was happy for it.
The early hours of October 26, 1991. Felicia is driving around the streets of Milwaukee with her two friends.
I want that jacket. Pull over, pull over, pull over.
They were cruising around in a car looking for victims.
Hey, hey, give me the car. Give me.
Felicia and her friends rob 4 people, stealing jewelry, shoes, even a baseball hat.
Things that they saw that they wanted and took.
They leave a trail of destruction in their path.
Those 3 young individuals thought they were invincible. They had gotten away with it a couple times and felt that, hey, this is great. We can get whatever we want, and just by taking it from people.
But tonight, things will get out of control. 17-year-old Brenda Adams is leaving a friend's party.
I remember telling her, you know, I said, well, you can do what you want. I said, but you better make sure you get to work tomorrow. And she had to work early in the morning. She was working at a fast food restaurant. And she's like, oh, trust me, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. I was like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. And that was it. Never knowing that later would never come.
She says goodbye to her friends and waits for the bus.
Brenda ran into bad luck.
Brenda's new coat is keeping her warm, but not for long. Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Give me a coat.
Felicia Morgan grows up the hard way, surrounded by violent crime and murder. But she is no longer a victim. She's become the predator.
Give up your germ! You heard her.
I think it's quite possible Felicia had become numb to violence. When a child is exposed to violence repeatedly, eventually the brain gets used to the horror. Violence becomes common.
Felicia and 2 friends are cruising the neighborhood, stealing from easy targets.
You know, the person who gets picked to be the victim of a crime happens to be the person that's walking at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what Brenda was doing.
1 a.m., October 26th, 1991.
Oh, that's right. I'm ready.
Felicia and her friends spot 17-year-old Brenda Adams. She is wearing her special birthday present, a brand new leather coat.
Brenda was at the party. She came outside onto the street and ran into these criminals.
Felicia was part of a pack, like a pack of wolves. They were egging each other on.
Felicia and her friend try to take the coat, but Brenda fights back.
Brenda wasn't one that you could just take something from her. And they tried to take the coat. She was a very physical person. I mean, she could hold her on.
Leave her alone! No! Back off!
They struggled, they fought, and the one girl ended up pulling out the gun and shooting her.
She took full advantage of that gun and used it for its deadly purpose.
Felicia shoots Brenda at point-blank range.
This was really a lucky shot for Felicia. It happened to pierce the subclavian artery. This is approximately 2 to 3 inches from the heart. She would lose consciousness very rapidly. There would be a large amount of blood on her clothing. There would probably be blood on the street underneath her.
But a dying girl doesn't stop Felicia claiming her trophy.
As she lay on the ground bleeding, take the coat off of her, and they drove off and left her there for dead.
That's the most shocking part of this crime,
Oh my God!
is that this young woman lost her life for no good reason because this girl wanted her coat.
I got the jacket!
Just months before, Felicia is beaten up for her coat. Now, she commits the same crime of fashion.
In that act, it was a way of undoing or getting even what was done to her. She went from being powerless to the one with the power.
Please, George, please, my friend.
Shooting a girl doesn't deter Felicia and her friends from hunting for more victims.
Take the coat, and they get back in the car. They still proceed to go on and do 2 more robberies after that.
For Felicia, committing violent acts on other people had become second nature, and it was easy for her to do. She grew up with it.
Felicia isn't on the run long. She tells family members what she's done and is convinced to turn herself into the police the next day. She's still wearing Brenda's blood-stained coat.
I think Felicia wore Brenda's jacket the day after the murder with bloodstains on it because somehow it probably represented a trophy.
Felicia is charged with first-degree intentional murder. Her attorney presents a novel defense that Felicia is suffering from urban psychosis due to her lifelong exposure to violence.
The defense wanted us all to believe that her violent background was causing her to be sick, essentially, to be mentally ill, to be unresponsible for this act.
I don't think Felicia was psychotic. There's no evidence of that, but she certainly was influenced by her environment and the combat that she was exposed to and all the murders and shootings in her family.
I looked at it as her life was not much different than a lot of the inner city lives, or even Brenda's. And she wasn't out killing, robbing.
The jury doesn't buy it either.
Jurors may have sympathy and empathy for what somebody like Felicia goes through that led them to a point of taking another person's life. But they don't want them walking the streets.
On October 29, 1992, Felicia Morgan is convicted and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 13 years.
It was important to me that she would not be forgotten and that justice would be served, because I loved her so much. I loved her so much.
Felicia is still in the Wisconsin prison system. Her next parole hearing is in November 2012.
She's been in there 20 now. I don't know at what point the parole board is going to say she's ready to come out. I think when they do say that, there may be people who resist that.
I don't think she's an evil person. Do I think she's learned? I think so. From the times that I've spent with her at the parole hearings, I think she's learned. I think she's looked back and regretted that awful night as much as everyone else has.